Am I the a-hole for telling my mom she should take responsibility for the child she chose to adopt? Hi everyone, this is a long one. I, 23F, have had a difficult, very toxic relationship with my mom. She has always been emotionally manipulative, narcissistic, and cruel in subtle ways that make you question your own sanity. I've spent most of my life being blamed for things completely out of my control. For context, my father divorced my mom literally days after I was born because I was a girl. I have never met him. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know anyone from that side of the family. But since I was a child, my mother has held it against me. If I do something she doesn't like, she'll say things like, "You're your father's child," or "You act like your aunt's daughter," or "This is why your father left." These are people I don't know. I've never even seen them, but she compares me to them as if I'm responsible for their existence. She remarried when I was around 13 to 14. That marriage isn't going great either, but I have kept quiet about my feelings because I want her to be happy. A few years later, she adopted a little girl, my now beautiful little sister. Here's where the issue begins. The day this happened was the same day I had just gone through a painful breakup. I cried all night and ended up with a migraine. I took meds and went to sleep around 6 a.m. At 8 a.m., just 2 hours later, my mom barged into my room and started pestering me to look at a photo of a baby. I was groggy and barely awake, but she wouldn't stop. She kept saying, "Look how pretty she is. Let's adopt her. Let's adopt her. Don't you want a baby in the house?" I said no. Again. And again. And again. I had no emotional capacity to process anything. I was exhausted and in pain. But she pushed for 4 straight hours, constantly waking me up while I was medicated and crying off a heartbreak. Eventually, just to shut her up, I said, "Fine. If you take the responsibility, not me." She promised she would. She said things like, "You're not the parent I am. I'll handle everything." Fast forward a few weeks later, the baby arrives. I love her now with all my heart. She's my sister, and I genuinely adore her. But I also became her full-time caregiver almost instantly.
Why?
Because I was the only one awake at night. Because my mom had work and was gone most of the day. Because my mom chose to be emotionally and physically absent. I was 21 at the time with no money, no experience, still trying to emotionally recover from years of trauma and a breakup, and suddenly I was parenting a child I didn't ask for. I didn't even like or want kids at that time, and I had told her that repeatedly. Yet here I was raising one. And it didn't stop there. Since last year, my mom has started pressuring me again, and now to start contributing to my sister's expenses, diapers, food, daycare, toys, everything. I'm a struggling makeup artist. I barely make enough to support myself. I do pay part of the house bills already, but she's acting like I should split child expenses with her too. Like this was some mutual parenting plan. So I finally snapped and told her, "You chose to adopt her. You pressured me when I was emotionally destroyed and drugged with migraine meds. I was never in the state to make that decision, and you know that. I didn't agree to be her parent. I agreed to stop fighting you after hours of emotional blackmail." She blew up. She said I was disrespecting my sister by calling her adopted. I never disrespected her. I love that child deeply. But facts are facts. I didn't ask to be a co-parent. My mom said she's my real daughter. Okay, then why is she expecting me to raise her and pay for her? She also dismissed my pain from that day. When I told her how she had manipulated me while I was depressed, she said, "Depression is nothing." She's now acting like I'm selfish and heartless for setting a boundary. So now I'm being given the cold shoulder at home, while still being expected to do the nighttime care and help with everything unpaid. I feel so guilty because I do love my sister, but I didn't ask for any of this. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom she should take responsibility for the child she chose to adopt, and stop acting like I'm obligated to pay for and raise her?